be the last question. Watch.
Okay, what profiles Liverpool need for next season? So I think like players he's talking about here. So what type of profile of players do we need for next season? What type of profile players we need for next season, lads?
Is this for what we want, or what you think Slot would want?
Well, obviously your own opinion in terms of what profile we think with this team that could
I'll have to do it based
on next season.
How I see Slot, because
Savage, there's only one word. You know the word already. You know what we need. You know the word already. It's the word
metronome.
Metronome.
We need a metronome.
Okay.
We need a metronome.
Here's my pick on it and take on it, right? For me, profile-wise, we need to go and get players going into the stage of becoming a world-class player. I can't deal with the project players now. I don't want to see us now going into the season, next season, and going, let's go and get Delap, and let's go and get, I don't know.
Why you keep sending for Delap, bro?
Nah, bro, because he's
good, man. I'm sending for him, bro.
I ain't trying to send for him, but I ain't on this project team no more, bro. Go and get me the Isaks of this world, bro. Go and get me in, bro. That's what I want. If Zubimendi's the guy you want, go and get him, bro.
I hear it.
Go and get the brothers that you said you want in it. Don't go and get me some makeshift guy now out of Portugal, or makeshift guy in like second division Spain, and that's the guy that you're thinking like, yo, he could come in. No. I need the profile of players to be top level now. We're at the top stages now. Let's not go backwards now.
Just run me Newcastle midfield, blood, and let's go again, blood. You get me?
We don't need to go out there and spend like mad money like that. You know what I mean? But we can go and get 3, maybe 4 players of top quality with the players we currently have in the team and go again. But if we gut the team and then go and get like players that you're looking at maybe in 2-3 years are going to be good, it's long. It's long. We need top world class players or players on the verge.
I feel like Slot wants us to play like Arsenal still. Every time I think of the profile players and what he's wanted already and how slow and side to side passing we're doing, and I just want Arsenal, the media Arsenal. But obviously, if you had the choice, I'd just get a midfielder who can mash man up, like a midfielder who can just mash man up in the middle and that. But seemingly Slot don't want that. I mean, he might, but obviously we can only go off the fact that we knew we wanted Zubimendi, so then Ederson and them kind of man go out the window, innit? But what profile? Just based off his actions, and another left back, another right back, even though he still might use Bradley as the starting one, and a striker.
Yeah, big on that.
And a striker. Big up, man. And a striker, that's probably about it. So I don't know.
Yeah, Matt, we asked the community some questions, or asked them to throw some questions for us guys to answer it. So I'll put them on a wheel, I spin it, and then we just chop up the questions. So the first one was about the Premier League being meaty. Has it been meaty, and what's your thoughts on that? This one was about profiles of player and that we need. Do you guys? What was the other one? Because I deleted them off of it. Do you guys remember the other ones? The first one, or
so people are trying to say that the Premier League is meaty right now. Is that the general consensus?
No. So the question was: is the Premier League been
and Liverpool fan? Why Liverpool fans so emotional? That was the other one.
Oh, why is Liverpool fans so? That's from the community as well.
Okay. So I don't think the Premier League's been meaty. I always feel like if Liverpool do something, there's always something to it. So when Liverpool won it, and it was a pandemic. Oh, it was a pandemic. That's how you guys won it. Liverpool right now, 11 points clear. Now all of a sudden the Premier League's meaty. Now it's not the best Premier League ever. No, it's not. It really isn't. But to say it's meaty, and again, I saw a bit of the show while I was walking back here. You look, definition is meaty. I agree. Like mediocre. Is the Premier League mediocre? I would say no, because all that's happened is that you've got the smaller teams, so-called smaller teams like a Bournemouth, a Brighton, that have just now stepped up now. And you've even got like Aston Villa now. What it is, it's just more competitive. What it was that format that we used to have back in the day, it just used to be Liverpool, Arsenal, Man United, and Chelsea before Man City were even there. Now people can't fathom the fact of you got these smaller teams that are now just pushing the limits now, because these smaller teams can now spend money. You got teams that can spend how much money? Look at who spent a ton of money. Nottingham Forest. Nottingham Forest. I know they were relegation sort of fodder last year. Look how much money they spent this year to get to where they needed to be. Now you could say it's a one-off, or you could say they're trying to build something. Why are we trying to discredit what Nottingham Forest are doing? Because if you're discrediting Liverpool, you're discrediting Forest. So what, are Forest mediocre now?
Do you think, okay, see, I know that word there, right? And I know it's like a triggering one, yeah. So when people say that, do you think they're just crashing on the whole league, or do you think they're just talking about the football aside? So not like sign-ins, not like the tactics or whatever. Just sitting there going, I'm gonna put on a Man United, Man City, I'm gonna put on a Chelsea, Villa, I'm gonna put on a Spurs, whatever, and they're going, Raj, you know, this is so meaty, bro. I'd rather go and watch somewhere else.
Here's the thing, yeah. Everyone expects with the Prem, all the big teams are going to be at their best. You know, that never really happens. Very, very rarely that all the big teams are firing on all cylinders. It very rarely happens. So, like, there's normally two teams that are just better than everyone else, and they normally battle. And sometimes you get that third team, like it was us last year. But if you go look at the history of the Premier League, it's very rare that you get so many teams that are doing so well. I would arguably say this year, like I said, the smaller teams are playing a lot better than some of the bigger teams. And that's why people are saying mediocre, because they're saying, well, look at the big teams. Look at Man United, for example. Man United are in 14th or wherever they are. Look at Spurs. Look at all these teams that are normally in the top six and they're not in the top six anymore. That's why people will say mediocre league. Because I guarantee you, if Man United were in the top six and Spurs, I don't think people will have that saying of saying the league's mediocre. It's literally because the top teams are not doing what they're supposed to be doing. But we can't do nothing about that. Like, you can only be prepared for your team. If your team is doing what they're supposed to be doing, how can you therefore blame the rest of the league? That's how I look at it anyway.
And then we was talking about profile of players as well. So, G, you can go on it, Matt. You jump back in. So, profile of players. Yeah. What kind of profiles do we need?
I think Liverpool needs someone who can control a midfield with like the tempo of the midfield.
What is it, metronome?
A metronome. You know that stupid
word, brother. Allow it.
No. From now on, I'm not saying anything about midfield now. It's a metronome. So Liverpool need a metronome, but we do, because it's the thing is with the Premier League, right? I always feel like when you come up against certain teams, it's all well and good if you've got the runners, you got the energy, you got all of these type of guys. That's great, right? And it kind of worked at the early part of the season, but you can see as the season goes on, I always look at, why do we call Javi? Why do we call Pirlo? Why do we call Cruz, Modric? Players who, as they got older, they just seem to just get better with age, right? And the reason isn't because of their physicality. Man, I don't care about that. Modric, bro, today, Modric went running around the pitch doing whatever. You know what he's doing?
Most of them are pretty slow as well.
And usually it's funny, don't you feel like most of the best players that we've probably known outside of like attackers, they're usually quite slow, innit? So in your head, you're thinking, how can someone so slow be so good? It's all about being able to dictate that type of tempo. So when we look at them type of profile, I don't know a player, so don't no one ask me. But that's the type of player I look at for Liverpool, because when we get to this part of the season, fatigue is low, certain players are maybe out of form. Brother, I just need a guy who can just dictate the tempo. Just in those games where Szoboszlai ain't running enough, or McAllister maybe, can't really do what. That's fine. That's cool. Guess what? I've got my man over here who can dictate the game and allow for other players to be able to, play that way. And I think we had that conversation the other day when everyone was talking about, like, I think you asked, like, what's like a priority for you in terms of which position? And I was like, everyone's like, nah, attack. We need a left back. I was like, we need a midfielder, bro. That's a priority for Liverpool. Like, we can get the other players, because the other players, I feel like it's quite transferable in terms of what everyone wants, i.e. we want a winger who can score goals. We want a striker who can score goals. Bro, you could probably find that a lot easier than trying to find the metronome, i.e. the guy who can control tempo, because those players are few and far between. And to find a really good one, I feel like that's going to cost you a pretty penny.
Hey, solutions within, blood. Sergio Bicetic, like that, right? Yeah, blood. Busquets regen and that, bro. Bicetic, run it, blood.
No. That for me is the key area for Liverpool Football Club going into next season. Though, find me a midfielder who can dictate tempo, and I will actually rate the squad a bit. What do you mean you don't know what metronome? Hey, get your dictionary out, man.
You're listening and you're not listening. You know, G's giving you the examples, bro.
Come on, man did do GCSE
That's what I'm saying.
music,
Man's explaining, bro.
Bro, come on, Scraps, man. You know the vibes, man. Metronome is obviously the guy who can dictate tempo. Do you know what I mean? Sitting in the midfield, Pedri, basically. That's the
yes.
Pedri. Yeah, Pedri, bro. Not the fraud Gavi, the real one, Pedri.
Whoa.
Sorry.
Yeah. Let's not.
I wasn't meant to say that out too loud, but I don't slip out.
No. I know you're upset. I know you're hurting that, but just
you know your feelings are a bit. You're in your feelings at the moment. But
I know. You know what I'm saying? Like, just
let us play tomorrow and let's see what happens. See what happens.
You know, what's so crazy though. You see how you're talking about the profile of player that we need. Yeah, I'd arguably say Trent does that, but he just does it from right back. And you're right, though. We do need that type of midfielder. Hence why Slot wanted Zubimendi. He wanted a controller in midfield because you probably could foresee that, yes, I got Gavin Bertrand, I got McAllister, but I still need a dictator of play. So when you got any type of basketball type games, you just got someone that puts their foot in the ball and goes, you know what? Let me take this sting out the game. I'm going to control this thing for the team, and then we can get back on track. But right now, we don't have that. Sometimes Trent can do it, but in a different way. Because what Trent will do, Trent will get the ball and look for that Hollywood where he will catch the opposition off guard, hit that long diag potentially to Diaz, or he'll play it down the line to Salah, and we're already in on goal. We've definitely missed that though, 100%. And I do agree with you. We need that midfielder. And I do think, because I was and ahhing whether we need a destroyer or a controller. And do you want to know something? We might even need both. Because there's games when because hear this now. Against Newcastle, Arsenal, we kind of got badded up in the middle of the park, in my opinion. Like physicality. Yeah. And I do feel like that's something that we struggle with at times. Personally, I don't know whether you guys agree with that.
Yeah, what Matt's saying is we need Newcastle's midfield. I told man, just get Newcastle's midfield. Just and they don't need the money.
Just go and get Joe Linton and them brothers there. Just go get them.
Big up, Marianne. So, man. No, listen, we do get bullied though. How many times a season do we get bullied though? So we got Newcastle. Normally Arsenal try and rough us up here.
Not many times, but it's because the Prem's fine margins in it. So even not many, it's too many, blood.
Yeah,
agreed. It's that's the thing. It's not like loads of games, but it'll be games that are it's games that are memorable. There might be only 4 games in the season, but yet you'll say to me, "Nah, but we got battered up by Newcastle. We got battered up by Arsenal." There was another game when we got battered up as well. It might have been Newcastle twice. In fact,
Nottingham as well.
St James's Park.
The second Nottingham game as well.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. So, in my opinion, that's something that we need to look at because as much as I rate Gravenberch and McAllister, we do lack a bit of physicality in midfield, innit? And not only that, going back to what G said, we need a controller, in my opinion, because no one seems to take the sting out the game and say, give me the ball, even if I'm under pressure, I'm going to cook something while you, man, just kind of, we need to settle down.
Curtis tries that though, don't he? But then,
but it's all wrong with Curtis though.
It's all wrong.
It's all wrong.
No, but you see Curtis Jones, Curtis Jones is a good player. However, the brother thinks he can take 20 touches on the ball when it's like, bro, sometimes play the simple pass and we're good.
Curtis's control is power league control on it.
Yes.
Where you hold onto the ball and hold man off and that. Yeah. It's like,
do you know what Curtis does? Prime example. I think it was against what team? But basically there was a defender. It might have even been Everton, but like there was someone that was literally right onto him, pulling his shirt. Curtis Jones could have released the ball. No. I'm gonna hold on to it. I'm a showman. I got strength in it. Let me show man I got. You know, it's one of them. It's a pride thing.
Yeah.
Like you know how it is in fives or power league. Like someone's trying to rough you up. You want to show them. Now man's got strength. Curtis does that too much, and it's to his detriment. Sometimes just release the ball, bro.
You know, McAllister does that quite a bit as well. McAllister just chills on the ball like there's no one chasing him.
McAllister does do that. Not as much as Jones, but
not as much as Jones, but McAllister is like, I'm just living life.
But look what you're like, Matt. You just said it there, Savage. You just said there about McAllister. This is a Premier League potential winning midfield, and we're both, and you guys are both saying, man, I'm moving like it's power league, but we need a new midfielder, bro. Like now you confirmed it. You need
I'm moving like it's Ballers League and that we can't sign them, man.
Ballers League,
Sometimes you
bro,
need the
like,
power league man them though, G. Sometimes you need the man them that's gonna.
No. And I don't mind having those type of players, maybe in a different position, like over there, like not so because
like
you got to remember,
Diaz. Diaz is more like Diaz. He's
exactly.
He's a cage footballer, so to speak.
You can do that over there, but when you're doing it like these times, as Matt said, like I remember that when Curtis Jones did that, because in my head I was like, I don't know if you're trying to win a free kick, and if you
He's
are,
not. It's just a strength thing. I got a brethren who plays just like Curtis, bro.
Why?
And he just waits. He just waits for man to try tackle him.
It's like he's
for no reason.
He's waiting for the contact. Yeah.
But why?
Like,
bro, get the ball moving.
Man can pass, but he's like, no, I'm gonna wait for someone to try tackle him. I'm gonna wait for the contact. Like, brother, why are you waiting for the contact? If you can see a pass, play what you can see.
Sometimes
in football, play what you can see, bro. And I'm telling you, it makes life a lot easier, bro. I'm telling you, fam.
Let me see what else is left on this. Listen, these questions are not from us, bro. These are from you guys. You guys in the community have asked us to answer these questions, so we're answering them. All right, what's the next one? Let's spin the wheel again. There's a mad one on there. Gee, hopefully the Palace one, because you have to explain it.
Come on, Matera.
I bet he's gonna fall on that now. Yeah, you see what did I say? He was gonna.